for the rest of the split. For now, we do head in the ban phase. Interestingly enough, LNG banning away the Lucian on blue side. Wukong is still available. That will be banned. So maybe Viego first pick.
I don't know, man. I'm just funking to the groove. That's all I'm doing right now, as we can see the first pick coming in. The Viego going to continue with that 98% presence that we talked about. Of course, the Gwen and the Wukong as well. But TT, they had an answer for it. They're going with the Graves and the Twisted Fate straight away. We are seeing some lightning fast picks.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this because Kallista's open and available and they opted not to prioritize. Yukao playing that utility role though, and it's clear they want that setup for the Graves in the jungle. Presumably will be in the jungle. We are seeing him there more than top lane at the moment. Now for LNG, do they opt to go towards potentially like Kalista? Renata could be a strong rotation here. I feel like, looks like they might even lean on the Nautilus though for Iwandi. Nautilus yeah. So not even leaning towards the Kalista. Still a decently strong lane though. Really not though the kind of cream of the crop we've seen on the current patch. Priority is a bit low on that one. But we're going to see what TT will answer with.
I was going to say, very reminiscent of spring, to be perfectly honest. Like, this draft at spring playoffs, god tier from the side of LNG. But we'll see if TT want to try and maybe shake things up. We haven't seen anything that has, you know, really come to forefront here for any of these teams. But something that can do some very big damage is going to be that Kalista. And with the Twist of Fate for Yukal in that mid lane, the bot lane looks like the place to be.
Yeah, I mean, picking the Kalista, obviously able to apply that early pressure. I will say it hits a point where, like, particularly we saw that Aphelios performance in those replays, how he just performed up against the enemy Kalista in the late game. She has to get in range of you and you will just shred her, but the early pressure is there. And now for LNG, Renata makes sense as a ban. I could also see them getting rid of, you know, potentially another engaged support like Alistair would make a lot of sense. They do go for that Renata initially. And TT are kind of banning away those mids with potential roam pressure. Take away the Galio. We'll see what else they opt to deny away from Doinby. Clearly don't want him to move in on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want Doinby to be able to move around. I will say that you're banning away things but against Doinby. He's got so many options available to him. They will move away after the Galio has been banned because, again, it was more just a direct counter to the Twisted Fate. They will ban the Gangplank. Honestly, I feel like this just opens up Doinby to maybe take himself that Silas into that mid lane, has priority, gets to steal away the ultimate as well, and you just kind of become, similar to game 1 of AL versus BLG, you become a better version of the enemy mid laner.
Yeah, definitely a potential option to go for that one. See if they end up going in that direction. I'll see what LNG's final ban is. Could even look towards like something like the Kale, but they will go for that Alistair. Obviously something that syncs well with the Kalista. I expect a support pick from TT. I don't really like the Leona. It's kind of fallen off in this patch. I would love the Taric, though. I actually think the Taric's fantastic. When we first saw Kalista come back in the meta last year, Taric was what paired. They do end up going for the Braum. A lot of power skirmishes. Bear in mind, this is 3 auto-attacking champions with a Braum. So if someone steps up, you stun card them, you Braum passive them, they get CC locked and die. For that reason, I feel like Silas may not be the play because he is a short-range champion. I think you want to play at a distance, and something that can play at a distance, something Doinby has had a fantastic game on, is that Corki.
The Corki has been locked and loaded. Again, great game from Doinby on that particular pick. It has been something he has been leaning towards. And again, LNG sticking to the tried and true late game method, saying, look, if we can get those big team fights off, if we can just get that Aphelios and Corki to that 2-3 item spikes, we're just safe as houses. And with the Gnar to kind of combo up with the Viego and the Nautilus, again, it's a very solid front-to-back team fight.
And they end up going for the Camille, so I thought perhaps the Kale could come out, but clearly with the Braum support, they want a bit more engaged, something that can get on top of the Corki and knock them down. So Xiaoxiang will go for the Camille. This is just an old school matchup we've seen time and time again between the two top laners. Obviously, both champions benefit from the durability changes. Mini Gnar's a lot harder to punish, harder to dive. You also have percentage HP on your W, but Camille has this special ability to do ridiculous true damage, which is obviously quite fantastic. Now, I feel like LNG want to kind of kite back, play at a distance, but TT, they can kind of do the same. It's basically like good target selection will dictate things, but ultimately Doinby does have that Corki, which will scale up to be an absolute monster. So we'll see how things play out, but I really honestly like the composition for TT, at least how the bot side of the map will play out. The 3 auto attackers plus Braum, skirmishes will be so easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love as well, like, you know, obviously with the durability patch, everyone was kind of saying, oh, it's always going to be Corki in the meta. There's always going to be a lot of that. Honestly, he's not really been seen that much in the game. It's kind of exclusively been Doinby bringing out this pick. Everyone, yeah, I know. I'm with you on that one. I do not want to see Corki going back into the meta, but it does feel like, I think it's 2 games now. This will be the 3rd for Doinby on the Corki. I think the other one was Shanks, I believe. But again, this is kind of the tried and tested method that LNG are happy to go with. I will say, though, is that they need Tarzan to kind of pop off again. This is how they've been relying on their compositions to say, look, Tarzan, you are possibly one of the best, if not the best jungler in the league. You need to carry us through this. And it does feel like everything relies on him on this Viego pick.
Yeah, finding any momentum. You're not going to have too much backup because it is that Corki in the mid lane. Really waiting more time to be relevant. And ultimately, that early pressure is going to be so important. I'm kind of hyped to see if TT go for an invade. Their composition is so good for invades. With the Braum and a Twisted Fate, Kalista as well. If they catch anyone, they will just die.
They will, in fact, just die. As we see there. No, nothing really untoward in terms of the summoner spells, or assuming the runes, but the Beishuan going, instead of the flash, going with the ghost, so prioritizing the chase down instead of anything else. And I will say as well, both AD carries looking to get themselves out of dodge should they get locked up. They both go with the cleanse, so no exhaust for either side as well. So if you get jumped on by either team here, you're going to feel it.
Yeah, so we kind of saw this with the Kazakhs coming out from Weiwei when he went the ghost. And the thing with Graves, he has his own dash built in. The ghost allows you to sort of, in those longer fights, chase down targets. But yeah, these are a little bit more vulnerable early. Now they are going for that invade. Beishuan is just going to be able to take away the red buff here. Kind of expected when you have this much power on the level 1, and so Tarzan positions himself to steal away the enemy red. We do see Xiaoshang heading over, though. I just got vision of Tarzan, so they wanted information. They don't get anything more. They won't be able to stop him. But they know this is a split map situation, and I think this kind of works well for TT. You really want to heavily play for your bot lane with this Kalista. Yeah,
absolutely. Doomby, though, will be a little bit of a nuisance cheeky now with the Prosperous Bomb. And yeah, honestly, can just be a little bit cheeky there onto Beishuan. He had already pushed in the wave. And again, it's a Twisted Fate. Level 1, he's not exactly going to push it back, is he?
Yeah, won't really be able to do much in return. And Doomby just comes in, steals one little chicken, backs away. That's all he needed to do in that situation, that scenario.
Hey, man, I get unruly when someone takes away a chicken nugget from me, you know? Even just the one. It's like, no, you can't do that to me. But might see a little bit of a trade now into this top side. Xiaoshang going for very aggressive trade here onto Ala, but he's got to respect the fact that Tarzan, as you mentioned, is on a split match. He's horizontal jungling, and he's going to be on this top side for a very long time.
Yeah, you just have to play defensive. And Camille, fine to play defensive. Obviously, not the easiest target to dive, and with towers being so strong, unlikely to happen. But just need to make sure you don't overextend without the hook shot and get caught out.
Well, we're going to go for a bit of an engage here. The Unbreakable gets popped up, so the trade does go in favor of TT for the moment. Iwandi still very tanky, though, as he has gone with the Glacial Shroud, or excuse me, the Glacial Augment. Yep.
Yeah, you kind of knew they weren't committing to that play because Southwind didn't walk in front of him. If you were 100% committing to kill Iwandi, Southwind would have stepped in front when he got stunned to block an anchor to get him out. But they're just trying to go for a heavy trade. They knew he was a bit too close to tower to get the kill. And a bit of pressure, but nothing really comes from it.
Well, you have a split map now. Very... Not the most common thing in the world that we've seen, but where you want to see now is obviously we talked about TT heavily prioritizing in this bot side, but for the side of LNG, we want to see this Viego going, we want to see Tarzan making moves. Where, though, is my question. Where do we want to see him prioritize?
I mean, if the wave state ends up messed up top, kill Xiaoshang. If Yukal ends up overextended mid, you can punish him, set him behind, definitely makes a difference in terms of like how much pressure he has at 6. Bot lane's a bit trickier because I think the skirmishing's a bit too strong for TT, right? If you end up engaging bot and Puff and Southwind kite you with the passive from Braum, you will just lose, and especially if Beishuan turns up. So the time being, focus on your solo laners for Tarzan and see if you can find windows there. Ole's doing really well in this 1v1 matchup.
It really is, and Ole's been that question mark, I suppose, for LNG. Really didn't have that good of a spring at all. Hasn't been exceptional so far in summer, but again, very early days, and we just try and think about and reminisce. So back when he was on, 2021 Worlds, the form of which he was able to play in the group stages and of course the play-ins was so much higher than what we've seen from him so far. And that's where LNG want to try and bring him back, but we will see a bit of an engage now going into this bot side. A flash going to come in, but the flash straight away has been answered as Puff picks himself up first blood in the bot lane.
And I'm not sure what the game plan was for my 1D there. Even if Beishuan wasn't there, I think you just die to the two of them. So questionable at best is all I can say. It's really hard to find windows onto this Kalista Braum early. You're going to get punished if you try and all in, especially this is an aftershock Nautilus. Nautilus is already a squishy support compared to like Leona, Alistair, Braum, he is far squishier, and without Aftershock, you will just get bursted.
Yep, we can see it here again. Iwandi just thinks it's a 2v2 without the Unbreakable. Maybe he thought there was an opportunity. But again, just like you said, I think he dies regardless if the Graves is here. I don't even think the Graves actually gets an assist or anything.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't win that. Like, Southwind had already positioned himself so you couldn't get a hook onto Puff. He was always going to hit Southwind. So I don't know. You know, it's the just bit of a fumble coming out from Iwandi.
Gaming.
Yeah, well, an early kill for the Calista, definitely the sort of thing you want to be getting. Definitely a positive. And they're going to translate that pressure into that dragon. We obviously saw last series having early dragons was a massive factor. And I think here you're going up against a Corki. A lot of those dragon fights might end up being fought with a package present on the enemy team. The scaling of the Corki is a threat in the later stages. So I 100% think TT getting that early dragon is a good call.
It's a pretty good call there. Get themselves nicely on the board. Still 2 minutes until the Rift Herald spawns. So at the moment, LNG... Go on.
If you look at Doinby's inventory, this is very much a... I'm just stacking. This is like the vibing inventory.
We scale it. Tier, coal, everything.
He's
finally getting some damage now. We'll have the Man Immune pretty early, actually, in fairness to him. And hopefully, if you're an LNG fan or a Doomby fan, oh, I'll stop myself as Ala goes for a full engage here onto Xiaoshang. But level 6 available to Xiaoshang makes it very difficult to go for this. And you can see already, Ala has to respect it, flashes away pretty instantly, knowing that if he gets caught up by that, he's probably dead.
Yeah, I think it might have been close, but he definitely didn't want to risk it, understandably. And I think as well, this control ward in the river made a lot of difference. Because you know, if Bayshron just turned up, it could have gone really bad.
Whoa, here we go. Really yeah, this is the combination. You got the Twist of Fate, you've got the Camille. They get the Hextech Ultimatum comboed in with the Fate's Call, or excuse me, the Destiny. And that is going to be an easy pickup here for the side of TT.
Yeah, really nice execution. This is why you're picking up the TF to be able to make those plays. And there is a big mid-wave that's going to be missed, but Bayshron is happy to pick those all up, as any jungler would be.
Yeah, he gets himself, doesn't have to gank, still picks up an absolute boatload of farm and experience. So all's fair in love and war. And TT, they've got themselves a really good start to this game right now. And this is kind of what reminiscent we saw in their first series as well. Their laning phase has been pretty good so far this split.
Yeah, and I think they need this momentum. I want to see what they can do with the bot lane more so, though. And ultimately, the Herald. Herald are coming up in 20 seconds. I think if you can get that one, maybe crack the mid tower, opens up UCAL to potentially play to sides, or you can just play heavily to sides with the TF, look to take a first tower and get some snowballing in. We'll see if they're able to translate the bot lane up towards the top side of the map. Ultimately, Puff and Southwind have control of the 2v2, so they can kind of move when and if they want to.
Oh, hook does not land, but Bayshwan is now here in the bot side. Iwandi gonna maybe get caught out here, and yep, he has no flash, he has nowhere to go. And that is a nice little kill, actually, going over the side of Puff. 2-0 on this Kalista. Tarzan, though, recognizes this and says, okay, I got to make something happen. I got to go for this Rift Herald.
Yep, I mean, go for the bot lane play will expose that, but it's a nice one from Bayshron and Southwind. Using the sweeper, knew that they wouldn't spot it out. And then also you saw when the stun connects, Southwind moved in front of Iwandi, blocked any chance of the anchor, dragging him away. Now, they should be able to finish this in time. Just be able to smite to pick this one up.
I mean, there's many Nars. They may look for the fight after this. No Hextech Ultimatum just yet, and they haven't picked up the Herald here from the side of LNG. You've got the Iwandi coming in on the Nautilus, so it's a 4v4 for the moment. The Kalista and the FLL still a ways away, but with the Braum concussive blows, they're going to force the flash out of Tarzan, and that Herald is going to spawn away. They might even look for the engage. The Fate's Call going to force 2 flashes, but Light can't go anywhere else. He cleanses, but he dies. Puff picks himself up his 3rd kill of the game, and TT, they're putting LNG under pressure.
So good from Southwind, the prediction, waiting to sort of see, you know, like, and firing in the direction where even if Light flashes, he still gets hit. End up chasing him down, and shit, the Herald was picked up by LNG, well, sorry, was taken by LNG, but the fact they don't secure the eye means it's basically meaningless, and TT have a 1,500 gold lead off these early plays. Really positive start.
Very, very well played so far by TT. And again, very reminiscent to their first series. Yes, they lost 0-2, but these are the good plays that we're seeing. And again, just understanding how strong they are. And everyone has just to kind of back away. LNG really want this Herald because it will give them so much, but they can't. Yeah,
Iwandi wants to go in because he's like, I've already died enough. I'm not worth that much. I don't care if I go down. But realistically, they can't contest this. This is how TT's composition works so well. 4 auto attackers plus Braum, the stun card as well. Anyone who ends up being too close will just get locked down, and Southwind finds the ult angle onto Light, gets that kill. Just really well played.
And again, Xiaoshang just, again, keeping Ale down and just making sure that this Gnar just have no relevance in this top side. And again, great moves coming out from TT. LNG, though, this is what we kind of talked about. The consistency, the idea behind what they're trying to do is fine. The execution, though, very much not quite there for them.
Yeah, and it's just difficult to find headway there. Pre-package, remember, one of the big changes that took Corki out of the meta is your first package is at 10 minutes, not 8. Right, so prior to this, you would have your package there to use for the Herald, and then you'd be able to sync up with Dragons later. Because of what happened with the changes, it's not available until now, but Doinby has it, and they are looking.
Yeah, they are looking for Southwind, who does have to flash away after the stand behind me, but the package is now down. You have Destiny Gate available, no TP for Xiaoshang, but he would have to be to a tower anyway. I don't know if you really want to fight for this on the side of TT, and I think they feel the same way.
Yeah, I think that was enough to ward them off, using the package around those objectives. And this is kind of how LNG want to play, utilizing that tool. And importantly, Puff's ultimate wasn't available, so was forced to use the flash to get out. Now, it's going to be a Cloud Soul. I think it has some value here, but maybe not the most. But here's the trade-off, right? You commit all that towards the bot side to get the Dragon. You lose 2 plates top, and that means Xiaoshang has caught up a lot of ground when he was previously behind in this matchup.
Okay, Beishuan pops the Ghost. Not quite sure what that one was about, but just very quickly wanted to get himself from bot to top. It's tactical.
Yeah. You see the question mark pings coming out from LNG.
Oh, speaking of question mark pings, Light gonna get jumped on here by Southwind and Puff. They even get the Destiny Gate, and he is dead. There's going to be the Glacial Fissure to keep Doonby at arm's length, and he cannot get a kill back. Iwandi is coming in, but I don't think he's going to be in position in time unless he goes for a flash. They land the gold card. Doonby almost going down. Does have the Valkyrie to keep himself safe, but TT, they're running the show right now.
Yeah, really nice execution on the dive, and the TP comes, but it's too late to match Yukao's ultimate. Able to come in instantly, punish Light for being isolated and low. And remember, he didn't have that cleanse again. And now, Puff, 4 kills for 0 on this Calista. 20 CS up and 2 levels, as you said.
This is getting rough for Light, and this is kind of comes back to why a lot of teams have just not really fit. I'm going to stop myself before we go into this meta point, because we can see Ala maybe getting Hextech Ultimatum very soon. The rest of Beishuan, though, and the Twisted Fate are here. They've been spotted out.
I'm not sure why they didn't go for that. I feel like that was
honestly,
such an easy play.
Felt like
maybe the thought process was Beishuan didn't have Ghost, so it can get there in time.
Can't get there in time. No Ghost, no play, no Ghost. But as I was saying, this is kind of why we're seeing a lot of teams just shy away from this Aphelios right now. The Aphelios is just so weak. If you get something like a Callista into it, the power you have in that 2v2, you just can't really survive it unless you play perfectly.
Yeah, this is why I thought the draft was a bit weird, because they passed over their chance, you know, because TT potentially could have picked up the Calista in the first rotation, opted not to, and then LNG could have taken the Calista, and again, opted not to. And this has been such a high prior pick. This Calista is often banned first rotations in the LPL, and they just weren't phased, weren't bothered by it, and you can see how powerful it can be, especially the fact that LNG gave over to TT with the Twisted Fate in hand. And I mean, maybe that was a factor, because typically Calista doesn't like playing into Twisted Fate because of that point and click stun, but even so, taking the Aphelios into it clearly has not worked so far.
I mean, you look at the games that so far Light has played in Summer Split. He's 2 Ezreals. This will be his second Aphelios, and Isaiah and a Lucian. He really hasn't looked towards that Calista whatsoever so far now, be it that because it's banned, it's picked away. I'm not going to try and deep dive into that just yet, but it does feel like this is a bit of a hole in the armor of LNG. There's something that they're not quite ready for. And you can see Ala, he thinks about it. He knows that Xiaoshang has an all-in potential. He just can't walk near this.
Yeah, he knows that Yukao's been missing from mid long enough. He could be there. So he has to respect completely the fact that he could just get taken down so easy. There's so much lockdown between these solo laners. If you do overstep, you will just die. Especially the mini Gnar. You know, the extra durability change doesn't do enough to save you there. And now we see a bit of a rotation up from TT towards the mid lane to apply some pressure, but Corki's back, so should just be able to clear out this wave. They are looking towards the second Herald, though. They swap Yukao down bot. He has that TP and that Destiny, and they move Xiaoshang up towards the top side, which I kind of like, right? A big factor if you engage will be that Camille being able to dive in, and Xiaoshang does TP back in to make sure he's there to defend the wave.
And well, TT, despite putting everyone on top side, it's in perfect time for this Rift Herald. So second Rift Herald pretty much secured, guaranteed. No real response here for LNG. They don't have vision control in any of the sides of the map. They don't even really have a push going for them except for that mid lane. But even then, you can see Puff already wise to the tricks and should be able to clear this one out without any real damage going down. So far, so good. And TT, they're following the likes of AL from earlier today, where the expected favorite is just not really standing up to them. And LNG, they need to try and make some momentum going for them, because TT are honestly just running them around the map. Oh, speaking of which, Doonby, ooh, almost gets caught out there by the hook shot, but still keeps himself safe.
And let's talk about the game plan for LNG. So firstly, you have the man immunity completed in the Corki, and Luden's coming up soon. Pretty big spike, right? Not quite the spike you want, because you would want to have Sork shoes as well. That 2-item spike is pretty nasty for the Corki, but you are getting there, and ultimately, you're going to be able to start syncing up your package with the Dragon timer. Remember, he used the package before last Dragon. The Dragon is a 5-minute respawn. The package is now a 5-minute respawn, so you cut it a little bit closer than it used to be when it was 4 minutes, but he's able to pick it up now and has it ready. TT are ahead. The Kalista is super strong, but you are dealing with the threat of the package, so they have to be careful how they approach this one. And look, Xiaosheng has just picked up his Divine Sunder and is heading down. They want this fight.
They want this fight, but Yukal did swap out his teleport, which he just used to get back into lane, for an exhaust. So exhaust is actually available for the side of TT. Should they be able to get onto Doonby or maybe even the Aphelios, that could be huge for this ensuing fight. Rift Herald goes down, but hasn't really been in a position to charge, and that's Shelly not getting to do her favorite thing in the world, which is headbutt turrets. But it does mean that TT get the value out of it, which is position over this Dragon. And looking at the way LNG are prioritizing, they ain't looking for a fight.
Yeah, they got what they wanted, which is control the area. It's a shame that it doesn't get a charge in. It would have really chunked out the mid tower, and especially against like a Corki, can be quite hard to take that mid tier 1. But TT get what they want. It does only mean they have that second Dragon. Still a while before potential soul, but for now they'll definitely take that. And we do see maybe he's leaned his pressure up towards top to try and get some damage on this tower. Yukal should be in here in time to defend it. Maybe might have to just back off. He's scared that potentially Tarzan could be shadowing, so they'll just end up going for a cross-map trade.
Cross-map trade, bot for top, but...
And Puff wins the race, so he gets that extra gold.
He gets the extra gold. That's a 3,000 gold lead still, maybe 2.5 for the side of TT. 5 kills to none, 2 dragons to 1. And a turret AP. So LNG, though, they are still very happy with the scaling on their team. Again, it's an Aphelios and a Corki. Even a Viego as well will be able to do some serious work in this late stage. However, 4-0 2-item Puff on this Kalista. He is huge. And combo that with the rapid fire cannon on Yukal. Yeah. They are big. And this is where I want TT to start pushing the narrative, pushing the envelope to make things happen.
This is absolutely where you want to do that. The fact that you have the long-range rapid fire to lock someone down into the Everfrost. Puff, as you said, the 2-item spike for Kalista, fantastic. This is kind of your best point in the game for TT, so you want to start snowballing, trying to find more advantages. But on the other side, Doinby has just picked up that Luden's, makes his wave clear better, and those rockets are starting to hurt with the completed man immune, so it kind of feels like it's Doinby against the world right now. He is the pivotal piece for LNG to stall this game out and to try and disrupt TT's game plans.
Absolutely, but TT, as I said, they have a good start to the game, but still only 2,500 gold, not insurmountable as of yet. Not quite sure how Doonby misses that rocket, but you know, everything's possible when you're Doonby.
The minion juked him. Minion juked him.
Yeah, it did. Minion juke. I love when you see like minions or like Scuttlebug just juking people like all their CC and stuff. It's like my favorite clips in the world. But
dude, I swear Scuttle is such a troll.
Scuttle is Faker in disguise. I am convinced. It's just so good at dodging out so many different skill shots. But we'll see. Oh, look, getting a bit of harassment down here. He is level 12, so using that Meganar ultimate off of cooldown isn't really going to be that big of a difference. But Doonby might be in a little bit of trouble here. However, he has been safely warded up, and they should not be able to get the jump on him just yet. And now LNG, again, they're very happy just pushing forward, kind of keeping this farm lead going.
Yeah, you kind of need TT to move back to cover mid. And the reason that play can't work top is because Doinby just destroys waves. He just one-shots them. It's kind of why it's becoming a bit difficult to find any pressure. And you can see that in the farm as well. Look at the CS lead between mid laners. Doinby is getting hyper-fed right now.
Yeah, he's 40 CS ahead of his counterpart. 30 CS ahead of anybody on the side of TT in terms of close, but it will end up being eventually TT taking away that tier 1 in the top side. Mid lane tier 1 is still available. 2 minutes till Dragon spawns, and we are just waiting for a next real big fight to kind of happen here for the side of TT. And honestly, this stalling out is, again, great for the side of LNG. You mentioned it. Doombee's just getting huge. I will say, though, there's the Glacial Fissure coming down. Ala, he's in a lot of trouble, and he's nowhere to go. Oh, that's just so unforgivable.
Yeah, of course, sleeping really shouldn't be in that position. And a nice kill from TT. You'll look to see if they can try and pressure the mid tower off this. At LNG, they don't really want to fight until the next package is available, which is on that next Dragon timer. So just waiting for that.
Well, UCal, why are you there? Why are you there? Oh, I'm not quite sure what that play was, but now... What? What? Oh, I'm going to have to bring myself back into this one here. I'm not going to give you a chance as Iwandi has to go golden. He's in the Hextech ultimatum, but Doongi is doing damage. You're in a chokehold. TT, what the hell are you doing? What was that?
I am so confused. I am speechless.
That's Baron. Why? UCal and Xiaoshang just fully throwing it into the side of LNG, and LNG get themselves a Baron. What just happened?
What are they... I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, TT are going to try and contest to try and stop this Baron from happening. It is getting low, but remember, Bayshwan, no flash.
Yeah, no splash, but again, it's still a Doonbee, so he's still got himself a Corki. They're going to try and go for this fight right now. It's again Ala forgiving himself over the wall, catches out all three. And I'm sorry, TT, you deserve everything that's coming to you right now. You just gifted them, hand-delivered them the game after doing so much for so well for so long.
Let's watch this replay. Let's...
Why?
Like,
he has full vision. Like, why?
That's what Destiny does as well. Like, you can never talk about not having vision. Your ult literally gives you vision on the whole map. I am kind of a bit irate after that play.
I'm a little tilted.
I feel like TT were playing so well, and they just throw it away for no reason. How is it ever gonna play? How is it ever gonna work? You know, Iwandi is just around the corner. And now, Dragon's up. Doinbee's level 15. They have Baron. They're easily going to be able to take this with the package as well. I wouldn't be so bothered if they hadn't played the early so well. But man, TT do not want to win this game.
With package still available for Doonbee, they can barrel up mid, say, look, we can force this fight. We can force around this objective because there's nothing you can really do. And it's exactly what they're doing. Bayshwan trying to secure his own blue buff. Yeah, honestly, like, it was TT's game to lose. And they did just that. They just... threw it away for absolutely no reason. I'm just so confused. Now Xiaoshang, what is happening? Why are you going in on that? He loses his ultimate because he thought maybe he's all caught someone out. I just don't know, Ops.
Yeah, and now Corki has GA on top of his pretty hard spiking items. He's level 15, 2 levels above the highest level of TT, and the poke is really going to start to hurt. He is out of rockets at the moment, fortunately for TT, but as soon as they come up, he's just going to keep layering down this poke.
I'm just so disappointed. Like you said, it's just they play the early game so well. They're calm, they're cool, collected, and then UCal just turns around and goes, "Hang on, lads, this isn't what I was agreed to." And now Ala is just keeping everyone away from this tower. You can't do anything. Honestly, I actually think that there's no way you can ever kind of like fight this LNG team. Doonbee is just too damn big.
There are still windows, right? If Doinbee miss positions, if you get a good flank from Xiaoshang, you still have a lot of CC in your composition. Let's say you take out Tarzan so he doesn't get resets. Doinbee ends up dying early into his GA. There's definitely windows. It's not completely doomed. You still have a 5-0 Clister, right? It's just a lot harder. And TT really did this to themselves. They made the game far harder. The fact that they don't get that 4th Dragon, you know, well, it would have been their 3rd overall, means it's a longer time before Soul, longer time before Elder. The fact that LNG got the Baron means LNG are ahead in gold, and also TT's first Baron is delayed. So for all these reasons, it's harder, but it's not unwinnable, right? And there's still hope.
Impossible.
It's just unnecessary, right? And I think that's why it's so bothersome, is that it felt like it would have been so easy, but yeah, it was something.
For sure, something, as you say, but yeah, well, as you say, it is now a 2.5, or actually 2.5. It's about a 1,500 gold lead here for LNG. They are equal on Dragons, and Doombee's getting to become a monster. You do have 3 items onto your Callista. You do have opportunities available to you, but they're becoming thinner and thinner, harder and harder to execute on as the game goes on. And Puff trying so damn hard. 5-0, like you mentioned. Honestly, have to give him so much props. Him and Stoutwind have been playing so well in this game, and then Yucal and Xiaoshang decided that the game was going too well. It was a little bit too suspiciously good. They were a little bit overzealous, and they end up getting taken out. But now Xiaoshang, he can't really go up against this because you don't have control over your own jungle. You're going to have to forfeit this tower most likely because there's just no way you can defend it.
The problem is, Xiaoshang does have stopwatch, but he's going to kind of have to...
Oh, Puff. Oh, Puff. Oh, Puff. That's not what you want to be seeing. He's now at from 5-0 to 5-1. That is your bot lane that was doing well. And yeah, I think there's just not a lot you can do now. I don't know. I don't know why Tarzan did it. I think they're just kind of styling on people now because they recognize that this game is pretty much theirs. They have the scaling and they have the damage.
I'm going to be real. It really feels like TT kind of got tilted after that play. Because Puff just kind of walked up there and got smashed in the ground. Had ult, had sums. Didn't end up using anything. And now, with all that extra influx of gold, it's looking rough. Let's get a replay, though. Steps forward. He gets stunned, but has cleanse and just doesn't opt to use it. I guess he thinks the Braum's enough to save him? I don't know. Feels really weird.
I don't know, man. This has gone from a really great example for TT and how they were setting themselves up for the thing, and honestly, it's gotten a little sad. It's more disappointing when you see what potentially could be, what could have been, but it's just not coming together. And again, the only person to blame right now, this isn't LNG outplaying them. This isn't LNG being so much smarter with their macro or crazy mechanics. This is TT with massive unforced errors. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of insane. And Doinby is the main beneficiary. 80 CS up on the mid lane matchup. Level 16 right now. Obviously, 3 points for the Rockets means they really start to hit on the squishier members. Even on and you can see Southwind chunked out. Yeah. Even on the set, 3 Rockets, and he's down to below half HP. We will see them maybe go for this. Heartbreaker has to be used by Tarzan. You still have to respect the damage that's coming out from the people on the side of TT, but with Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, you have no control over your blue side jungle. You're probably going to have to get this one, or you could maybe flip it for a Baron. I think it's a point where you have to go for desperate plays from TT. You know, you're in a hole. You have to just make something happen, and it might end up backfiring, but you're at a deficit now in this game that's very hard to overcome. You can see Light has caught up in items compared to Puff. Doinby's about to reset for his final item here. Sorry, not final item, for 4th item, I think. Does he get it, or is he just going to go for the package? Either way, you know, LNG are so strong. And I think he's going to go for a Death Dance, so he's going to be even harder to take down. Ooh, the flank of ages. They have no vision on this whatsoever. Doinby is behind the turret, but nobody's here. Absolutely nobody there, but the rest of the side of LNG are saying, look, Doinby, we'll get you in a second. There's the ultimate coming out there for the Nautilus to try and start it all off, with the Glacial Fissures slowing everybody down. Great package across everybody. You've got the separation to deal with. TT just aren't in a position to try and go for this. As I say that, though, Puff is still putting out spears. They eventually take down Doomby, and Xiaoshang is still pretty big. Look at Puff. He's finally turning it around as a double kill comes in for the AD carry, and they finally get the ace. TT, they capitalize on LNG getting too overzealous and finally get themselves back in the game. And just when it felt like TT's hope was going out the window, LNG throw them that one. They go for the super heavy engage, and this Corki, who I was like is so strong, is the pivotal piece for LNG, ends up committing way too hard. And there's 2 fronts to this fight, so we'll try and highlight both of them. Firstly, the lockdown on Puff doesn't really connect because he flashes away, and then he starts kiting like crazy right now. Ola gets knocked up. Great play from Southwind, and Puff just gains so much ground in the situation, able to get so many spears out, dodging everything. Really well played by him. On the other side of the fight, Corki just zoomed in to get beaten up on by the Camille and the TF, and then they rejoin the fight to follow it through. It was not just the fact that Puff played so well, but Doinby also ended up in such a rough position, and that has given some hope back to TT. They're still not completely out of the hole, but they are alive in this game. They are on life support. But yeah, like I said, the Corki package was great if his team was able to follow up. It looked like him and Tarzan were able to go into maybe a 2v2, but Tarzan completely backs away, and Doonby ends up, as you mentioned, all alone, so doesn't really work out for the side of LNG whatsoever. It's now swung back in the favor of TT as they finally get themselves some kind of life in this game. Basically off the back of Puff playing it so damn well. I will say, though, they haven't got any summoners left on their AD carry, and they will have to try and be very, very careful with how they go with this one here. UCal will have the ultimate available on the Destiny Gate, but they can't be going too overzealous.
And I will also say it is TT's turn to throw now. So, by that metric...
I didn't realize we were playing catch. My bad, man. I thought it was League of Legends. It's totally my bad.
No, this is definitely catch, Machine. This is definitely catch.
It's TT's turn to throw. They have the ball after LNG threw it to them. It makes total sense.
Absolutely. And
I was mauling for a bit.
Corki did back off to buy Death Stand, so they will finally get that mid-tier one. But it took so much work to take that one down.
Yeah, well, we'll see now with no GA, though, for the side of Doonby. He isn't as safe as he used to be, as Ale now gets jumped on and taken out while underneath the tower. They do have Tarzan and Doonby trying to chase down on the Xiaoshang, but they can't finish him off just yet. As I say that the death stand's still ticking. They will just take out the tower. That's a two-man knock-up here for Southwind, as they might try and look to re-engage this fight. Everyone needs to try and back away. As TT are pushing forward, the collateral damage just keeping them down. Flash in, they get the stun card on the Doonby, but he uses his life as collateral. UCal goes down, Xiaoshan goes golden, and he should be taken out as the Gravitum gun is good to keep him locked in. TT thought they had LNG cornered, but it was LNG who were able to strike back.
Like I said, catch. I don't know, man. UCal again, I don't know why you flash in for that stun card, but no one can follow up. It was a good initial play with Xiaoshang and UCal going for this dive onto Ale. So catch him in mini-knock, perfect time, and interrupt the dash as well. Get the kill, and then importantly, get out. Tarzan can't overcommit here. Doesn't have the damage to finish him off. And then the fight starts to continue. A bit of a back and forth. You see with the extra member, TT feeling confident. But the play that is the big question mark for me is UCal's final play in this one. No one is in position to follow up. I don't know. It's not the play.
Maybe it's a game of catch between Doonby and UCal. You know? Maybe it's about those guys playing. No one else is playing catch. I'll stop myself, as we might have another bit of an engage here. They do not land the Winter's Bite onto anybody, but with 30 seconds until Dragon spawns, this would be Cloud Soul for LNG. This game has all of a sudden gotten very close and very much gotten to this last team fight. 32 minutes on the clock. You will have GA available for Doonby very, very shortly, and flashes will be available for the AD carries. Puff has everything. He is the man that needs to stay alive now in this fight if TT want to win.
100%, and it's target selection for TT. Great at just picking out single targets and taking them down one by one with the stuns.
Hello.
Oh, let's got Mega. He's looking for a flank.
He's looking for it. He is in Mega right now, but Xiaoshang is wise to the Mega Gnar tricks. Dragon has been procced. He will not have any spears in it just yet. They're going to try and turn this one around as UCal goes for the flank with the gold card, but they have to turn around onto Puff. They're trying to see if they can finish this one off, and TT will get themselves their third Drake. Southwind goes back in as he tries to get himself back out. There's the Glacial Fissure onto 5, but you don't really want to be in that position, and now everyone's just running for the hills. Puff is the one you want to catch, and he is the one who will die. You will get the Dragon, but Southwind decided he wanted to be a part of this game. He was sick and tired of being left out, and he grabs the ball and throws it straight back to LNG.
Why did he go back in? I'm losing my mind, Sheen. Why did he go back in? They got the Dragon, they were out. Oh,
crazy
man, I think they can probably
our
end.
Game. Crazy is our game, and that is literally what's been happening this game. I can't define to you or tell you or break down what has happened because it has all been crazy. And now we'll see maybe the final fight coming in as LNG take down Nexus turret number 1, the Graves, the Camille, and everyone else shall fall. This is going to be game 1, and on Seahawks, you have the unenviable task of trying to break down what the hell was that game.
I'm just speechless. I want to see mind blown. LNG managed to clean it up and get the win, but that game was anything but clean. So many unforced errors, so many errors, just completely no reason for them to happen, and it was just players overstepping in some